Welcome everybody to this, 17th class of the Taitareeya. Thank you very much, Binduji, for doing this with us. Just a reminder that the mantras in a translation that Binduji put together are above in the Dropbox and with the Sanskrit as well. But it's nice to, I think, have translations that are different, perhaps, than the one in the book that's in the chat, where you could read some translations of Shankara's commentaries, starting on page 301 for the second chapter of this Upanishad. And really glad we're all here, although we'll turn hand raising and chat off during the class so that we aren't distracted. Afterwards, there's a question and answer, and it's really an opportunity for us to all talk. I hope that we don't become, feeling that this is so formal or so regimented in any way that we can't really bring up the things that we want to talk about related to what we're being given here. I think that's what Binduji and all of us would really like, is to truly be taking the opportunity to talk together, whether we're clear or not clear, or something seems not quite in the right direction for us. I will say I hear some beautiful discussions sometimes after or separate from the rooms that are a little more free, and you're welcome to bring those things up here. The only container we're trying to keep is that the perspective here that we're trying to make clear is Advaita Vedanta, but sometimes many things have to be discussed in order to get clear on that. At least that's my view, and we'll limit things however Bindu sees appropriate. So thank you for all being here. The replays are available here and on the YouTube channel Advaita Retold, just for any of you who are not already aware of that and want to catch up. And we always meet here Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8:30 p.m. IST. So without taking more time, Prakash, would you like to say anything before we turn it over to Bindu for the class? And then again, afterwards, we'll open it up and have a Q&A. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash. Welcome all. Namaste and Hariyo. We are into the 17th class. So till the last class in this particular second chapter, the discussion was on Brahman and Atman. Brahma vidapnoti param. And then how it is related to tasmad etasmad va atmanaha. That Atma and Brahman linkage. There we discussed about the Sarvajna aspect of Brahman or Atman, and how Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam are the Lakshya Vakyas, and Vachya or the words are adjectives for the purpose of adjectiveness, but they are all indicative about a Brahman which is all three concomitantly applicable. Satyam and Jnanam, Anantam, all one without the other two is imperfect. So we have completed this Brahman and Atman. Now we'll be proceeding further in the same Anuvak or the first section of the second chapter in today's class. So let me start today's session. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutravashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtiveda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shanti Mantram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Prathama Anuvak. Om Brahma Vidapnoti Param Tadesha Bhyukta Satyam Jnanamanandam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman Sosnude Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti Tasmat Vaye Tasmat Atmana Akasha Sambuddha Akashad Vayuhu Vayoragnihi Agnerapah Adhyah Prithvi Prithivya Oshadayaha Oshadebhyo Annam Annat Purushaha Savayesha Purushonnara तस्येदमेव शिरः अयम् दक्षिणः पक्षः अयमुत्तरः पक्षः अयमात्मा इदम् पुच्छम् प्रदिष्टा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति इति प्रथमानुवाक. Now today I will go through the mantra word by word before I go to the next section. Om Brahmavit, the knower of Brahman, Param Apnoti, attains the Supreme. Tat, about that, Esha Abhyukta, the following is being said. Satyam, the real, Jnanam, the consciousness, Anandam, the infinite, endless, Brahma is Brahman. So Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Yaha Guhayam Nihitam Parame Vyoman Vedaha. Yaha, he who Guhayam, in the hidden recess, or here it is standing for the buddhi or the antakarana or mana. Nihitam means residing. Parame means param supreme. Parame means in the supreme. Vyoman, here it is vyomni, it should be the correct usage, but in the Vedas they have the freedom to use the language before this codification has started. So Parame Vyomni is the right usage, but here they are using Parame Vyoman, means in the Supreme Akasha. Yaha Veda, one who knows. Saha Vipaschita Brahmana. He, Vipaschita means the omniscient Brahmana of Brahman. Saha, along with Sarvan Kaman, all desires, Asnute, attains, realizes. Iti. So this is the first part which today I will be completing. So just to bring the Tasmat Etasmat Atmana to connection between Atma and Brahman, that is why the next portion beginning was discussed. We will go to the Akasha etc. in the following classes when we come to that. So here today what we will be discussing is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. After that, Guhayam Nihitam Parame Vyomni Vedaha Saha Vipaschita Brahmana Saha Sarvan Kaman Asnute. That is what we are going to discuss today. So, in the commentary, Shankaracharya starts with Tad Yatha Vyakhyatam Brahmaha Ya Veda, means just as it has been explained earlier, Brahmaha, that Brahman, which is Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam, that Brahman, Yaha Veda, one who knows. Veda means Vijanati, means one who knows, or one who, understands or apprehends that Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam put together is what Brahma. He, Saha, Nihitam Guhaya. Nihitam means Stitam, residing in. Stitam means residing in. Guhayam, Now the word guhayam is being explained in a long sentence. Guhate samvaranartasya nighuda asyam jnana jneyat jnadr padartaha iti guha buddhi. Gudau asyam boga apavargau purusharthau iti va. So what there are two set of meaning which can be brought by for the word guhaya. Guha means the word, it is coming from the verbal root guh. Guhate means samvaranartham. Samvartam means hidden. So guha, the typical word guha, we say it as a cave. Now the literal meaning of the word guha is a place which is hidden or which is not accessible in the normal sense. But Nikhuda Asyam, it is he hiding what? Jnana Jneyat Jnadr Padartaha. The Jnadr Jneya, that is the one who is knower. Jneya is the known or the subject or the objects which are being known. Jnana is the happening or the knowing, is the Kriya. So, the subject, object and the act of knowing is hidden in this guhaya, in this hidden place. And that is where iti guha iti buddhi. Therefore, guha should be known as buddhi. Or buddhi here means the antakarana. Buddhi means buddhi, mana, buddhi, all. To the buddhi here means doesn't mean the intellect. Gudau asya boga apavargau purusharthau itiva. There is another meaning for guda. Gu samvaranarte. Asyam boga apavarga. Boga means enjoyment. Apavarga means is a release from the enjoyment. What? Of purusharthau. All the purusharthas are categorized into two. Either you are engaged in the purusharthas or you are releasing yourself or you are looking for the moksha. Apavarga means here can also means moksha or mukti from the boga. Itiva, that is another meaning. Tasyam parame prakrishte vyoman vyomni akashe avyakritakye. That here where. Now the word akasha. Parame vyoman. Vyoman means akasha or the space. Vyomni is the seventh case where it is adhikarana or in which, in where it is this. Parame vyoman. So that is an adjective. Parame vyomni means prakrishte vyomni. Akashe. It is such a space which is prakrishta means well defined. In that space which is well defined, avyakritakye, by name avyakrita, means unmanifest. When it is not manifest, it is avyakrita. Or you can, the older commentators have used Maya for it. So I am not using the word Maya for it. Maya Tattvam. Avyakritam means unmanifest. Where this subject, object and act of knowing is not manifest. In such a buddhi, such an antakarana or in the heart or in which there is no feeling of subject, object and act of knowing, means neither there is waking nor there is a dream. In that avyagram, unmanifest shape state, where means here it is indicating to that state where there is neither waking nor dream, or the world is Vyakritam, but in the Avyakrita Rupa, in the unmanifest form, and there in the Guha, in the Avar Samvarana, means where it is covered, which is it covered by what? Covered by nothing. The non-manifestation or the unmanifest form itself is the covering. There is no separate thing which is covering there. So that is the Avyakritakye. Tadhi Paramam Vyoma. That becomes the supreme space. So here we have to understand that after having brought Brahman and Atman, now before creation, the first thing which is being created is Akasha. Tasmat etasmat va atmana Akasha sambhutaha. Now that Akasha, how is being created, before that, we need to be told what is an Akasha and where it is being created. And when it is Brahman is being created, we will have a tendency that it is a external object called Brahman who is now creating everything, the space, etc., etc. But when it is mentioned that Atmana Akasha Sambhudaha in the subsequent place, that Atma and Brahman has been identified in our earlier discussions, in the last class and the class before that. So, now how does this Atma is creating the world of experiences? For understanding that, we have to now look inward, Avrita Chakshu, by looking into our own experiences of creation. How does the act of a creation is happening? Whether we are actually creating or not. It is not we, the individualized ego, which is creating. Please understand that. There is this Turiya or Brahman, which is available in all the three cases of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, deep sleep, waking, and dream. So in the Akasha, what is being created has to have a subtler thing which is subtler than the Akasha. Because normally something subtle is the cause for something grosser. That has been always seen in all the experiences of ours. So here, Avyakritakye Akashe means in a space which is not even manifest. That space has to be something subtler than the Akasha. The Akasha is not this sky which we are talking about. It is the Panchabhutas, mean Tanmatras, or that spiritual Akasha, or the spiritual space, or the ether, which is before manifestation. So when you are saying that it is from that in the heart, when this creation is happening, we have to now apply to ourselves and see it. From the deep sleep, let us assume first we are going to the dream instead of waking, because we are in waking, so we cannot discuss about waking while being in waking. So let us discuss how the dream is being created. Sorry, excuse me. From the deep sleep. That is how we have to conceptualize, or when we are turning our inward to ourselves, we should be able to think. For the dream to come, unless the space for the dream world to exist is created, the world of dream can never exist. So, Akasha means Avakasha Dhatra, the substratum in which things can exist. So, the dream space in which the dream world can exist is the first one which is being created. So, that is what here which is being mentioned by in the Parame Vyomni Avyakrite Akashe. Now, this exactly is now quoted by the Yajnavalkya in the Brihadaranya Upanishad to Gargi. Etasmin khalu akshare Gargi Akasha. This Akasha, oh Gargi is a Brahmatnyani in the courtyard of Janaka, King Janaka, where this dialogue is taking place. Khalu, indeed, etasmin akshare, in this akshara means that Brahman. In this Brahman, Gargi Akasha, because Gargi is asking a question there, where does that Akasha reside before the creation? So, Yajnavalkya says, etasmin khalu akshare Gargi Akasha. So, it is very clear that itya akshara sannikarshat guhayam vyoman iti va samanadikaranyat avyakrita akasham eva guha. So, what does here is the guhayam vyoman, that word is not indicating the physical heart or the mind or the intellect. Even before the mind and the intellect come for experiences, the mind and intellect or the mind also need a space where for it to exist. So where does that exist? Avyakritam, Akashe. That is what is called the guha here. So Nihitam Guhaya is indicating of Brahman itself. In the Brahman Sthitam, Guha Nihitam means Sthitam, or residing in Brahman. Or now here is the problem with the usage of English. When I say residing in Akasha or residing in Brahman, Brahman becomes separate and Akasha becomes separate. No, don't think that way. You have to understand that what we are talking about here is Ananta, Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. Anantam means Ananyatvam. There is nothing separate from that Brahman. So Akasha, when it is said residing in Brahman, is indeed that Brahman itself, which is now becoming the Akasha, or appearing as Akasha, or embedded as Akasha, whatever may be the terminology we want to use in English, but the intended meaning is that Akasha is not separate from Brahman. Tatravi nigoda sarve padartaha. Tatravi, in that, nigoda means hidden. Sarve padartaha. All the material, all the things which are going to be created are in that state, right from the state of Akasha onwards. So, how are the padarthas? Trishu kaleshu. Even before the creation of time. That is why the word Trishu kaleshu, sarve padartha. Karanatvat sushmataratvatcha. Due to two conditions. One is it is subtle, both the time and the space. There is no separate entities called time and space. Both are one and the same as per the creation. Therefore, Akasha only is being mentioned because time is also a measure of space. Within the space, the time is being measured, even though the time may have a what you call present, future and past type of a measurement. But that measurement is in relation to the space only. Because karanatvad, it is that from which the space and time is being created. And therefore, Trishu Kaleshu means the past, present and future and the space is coming from that Brahman, and Sukshma Taratvacha. It is subtler than the space and time from where it is coming. So I told you the grosser things come from the subtler things. So we know that both space and time are subtle to such an extent that there is nothing subtler than that known to human beings. So here is a cause which is from where this time and space is coming up has to be subtler than the space and time. Therefore, karanatvat sushmataratvatcha tasmin antarnihitam. Tasmin antarnihitam Brahma. So, tasmin means in Brahma. Antarnihitam is embedded or is residing or is appearing, or Brahma is the substratum in which they are appearing. Whatever methodology we want to understand it, you have to take the right meaning here. Brahma is sarvagatatvad. It is the vastness. So, Akasha and time, both Kala, has to be inside that Brahman, and from that only, since it is subtler than Akasha and Kala, Brahma becomes the cause for the appearance of Akasha and Kala in Brahman, but not separate from it, Ananyatvad, because Anantam is the nature of Brahma. Ardhameva tu paramam vyomni nyayam. This paramam vyomni has to be, Ardhameva means Hridiyeva, is the heart. Indeed, heart means here, the heart is not manifest. Before the manifestation of the heart, it is in the form of Brahman or Atman. Atman itself is Brahman, Atman, and Atman itself is heart in the Hridayam. Nyayam. Vijnana angatvena vyomno vivekshadatvad. Vijnana angatvena. Here is Vijnana means Jnana. Angatvena. It is Brahma has one of the Anga as Jnana. Satyam, Jnanam and Ananda. Therefore, Vijnana angatvena means Jnana angatvena vyomnoho vivikshadatvad. Therefore, vivikshita, the intended meaning of Hridi is the place where the knowledge or the, what you call, the Brahman in the form of knowledge is being experienced as Vyomni, in that space of the heart. How does Shankaracharya arrive at that? So for that, again, he is quoting Brihadaranya Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad. He is quoting Chandogya Upanishad, where it is in the 3rd chapter, 12th section, and 7th and 8th mantra. Yo vai sa bahirda purushad akasha yo vai sondaha purusha akasho yaha ayam andarhridaya akasha. Yaha bahirda, in the external, purushat akasha. From the purusha, there is an akasha outside him. This is in the section of the meditation, where how the akasha meditation is told in the Chandogya Upanishad. We didn't cover this, but in this 14th sector is where we discuss the Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. So the prior to that is this particular mantra. So Bahirda Purushat. So external to the Purusha, there is an Akasha. So vai Sandha. Then there is a Akasha inside the Purusha, because the Purusha also is having space, occupying the space, so it is naturally having space for his own existence. So, Anda Purusha Akasha. Then, Soyam Andar Hridaya Akasha. The third Akasha, which is being referred here, is Andar Hridaya. Inside the heart, where the meditation is being referred to, where the concentration for meditation has to be done, that is referred as Andar Hridaya Akasha. So therefore, the three Akashas are being divided based on the Upadhi or the instrument. The physical body, when it is external, there is an Akasha. The physical body's existence itself is an Akasha. And inside the heart of the physical body, there is an Akasha where Angushtamatra Purusha, this Brahman in the form of a thumb, is to be meditated upon. So in that section, this Akasha is being referred as the place where the meditation or the concentration or the knowing of, Atma Tattva has to be thought about. So that is why the Vijnana Angatvena Vyomni Vivekshatattva is what the Shankaracharya's commentary is referring to. Idi Shutryantarat Prasiddham Hridayasya Vyomna Paramatvam. Therefore, this Anya Shruti, Shrutyantaram, in that Chandogya, it is Prasiddham. What? Hridayasya Vyomnaha. The space of heart is Paramatvam, is the supreme space where this Atma can be realized, or this knowledge aspect of Atma, or the meditative aspect of Brahmaloka, Brahma Bhutas, that state of meditation, where Brahma Bhuta state of meditation is recommended and is happening. So, Tasmin Harde Vyomni Ya Buddhir Guha Tasyam Nihidam Brahma Tad Vritya Viviktayoho Upalabhyate iti. Now, Tasmin Harde Vyomni. In that space inside the heart, Ya Buddhir Guha is the hidden cave of the mind or the buddhi. Tasyam, in that, Nihitam, hidden, Brahma, Tad Vritya, Tad Vyavritya, in the form of vrittis, Viviktataya Upalabhyate. The knowing which is happening in the space of the heart, in that, the purity of the knowing, vritti, there is a vritti happening, a thought or the knowledge happening in the mind. In that, viviktataya upalabhyate Brahma. We will be able to separate out aham vritti or Brahma vritti or Brahmakara vritti or the nature of Brahman or Atman in that knowingness that is happening in the heart, where there is no subject, there is no knowing as subject, object and knowing. That is why Jnadrit Jneyat Jnana Padartha Guha Buddhi. That is to be kept in mind. When we are able to conceive the knowledge in the vritti which is happening inside our mind, without the subject, object and the knowing related to the subject and object, the pure knowledge which is happening in our heart, through the thought or through the knowing what is happening in the heart, is what is now referred to here as Tasyam Nihidam Brahma. That is why it is hidden. It is not hidden because it is not accessible or it is not knowable. It is hidden because we are not able to know the knowledge or jnanam without the subject, object and knowing vritti in the heart. Therefore, it is hidden, nihitam, is residing and guhaya, in the hidden and established in the heart. Nahi anyatha vishishta desha kala sambandho asti brahmana. So anyatha, otherwise, there is a question of vishishta desha kala sambandha asti brahmana. The moment we talk about subject, object and knowing, it will be conditioned by desha kala sambandha, the space and time of knowing that I am knowing Brahman now, the time now, or I am my guru has realized Brahman when he was in Himalaya. That there is a desha or a place where you are talking about the realization. Nothing of that sort can be thought about. Nahi anyatha vishishta desha kala sambandho asti brahmana. This knowledge about Brahman or the nature of Brahman or nature of Atma, he is unconditional to desha kala sambandha, relation with the what you call space and time in any vishishtada. Whatever speciality you say, mention about it, that it is in the form of, the knowledge of, gush of knowledge or gush of experience, etc. Such things can never happen because that is in the experiences hidden as the nature of knowledge, not as knowledge of knowing and the knower. Why? Sarvagatatvat nirvisheshatvatcha. Because there are two conditions for that knowledge nature. Sarvagatatvat, that is available everywhere because Brahma is sarvagatam. Brihatvat is, it is spread, it is everywhere. Everything is inside Brahman. Therefore, it is the superior most which has got that Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. So that Sarvam is inside that Isha. Here Isha is Brahman. So therefore, Sarvagatatvat, because of the Sarvagatatva, you cannot restrict it inside the heart alone. Even though the heart is now being told as the heart of our experience, vritti, where the thought is taking place. This is the place where the limitation of the individual has to break up totally, that the heart is not a space inside the physical body. It is that sarvagatam, that space is everywhere. Therefore, when we are knowing the book or the mobile on a table, the table is on the floor is inside the room is inside the building is inside state or district and the earth is in the solar system is in Andromeda is in, or Milky Way is in the space, visible universe, invisible universe, all that is the where the mind can go anywhere. So how can you say that mind is restricted to the physical body? Our nature, our true nature is sarvagatatvam. We are everywhere. We are in everything. We are omniscient. That omniscience or infinitude is now experienced by knowing Brahman or Atman in our heart when the knowledge sparks in that neither as knower or known or the act of knowing, but as pure knowledge, which is not limited to what any specific body or any specific time or any of the type in which we can limit ourselves. We are unlimited is in this sense that we are infinite. When the Shruti says that we are infinite, it is from this point of view that we are not even our heart or the mind with which we can go to the universe and beyond universe, but we are subtler than that heart and hidden or unable to fathom with the mind, because it is a cause for the mind. Karanam. Because it is a karanam, the karyam cannot, the effect, the heart cannot see the cause from where it is coming, but the effect of the cause which is there in the karyam, in the effect, in the cause which is seen in the effect, the gold is seen in the ornaments. The ornaments are not gold, but gold is the ornament. Same way, the heart is Atman, but heart is not Atman. Atman is heart, but not heart is Atman. The heart is a creation from the Atman. But gold is present in the ornament, same way the Atman is present in the heart. In what form? In the Viviktadaya Jnana. That knowledge without any attribution. Because there is no Vishishta Desha Kala Vastu. These three things are not conditioning that knowledge. A knowledge or a knowing which is not conditioned by space, time and object, nor the subject. Because all the three, subject, object and knowing, we is limited by space and time if we take our physical heart. Now here we are talking about that heart with which we will be able to turn our vision inward to know Atma. The cause is seen by the effect only when the effect leaves its individuality or the identification of the ornaments. When it is left, it remains as gold. The identification of the pot, etc., when it is left, it remains as mud. Same way, when the identification of our limited knowledge in the thought as knower, known and the knowing without the time, space and the objectification, that knowledge is the nature of Atman, and that knowledge is present in our vritti or in our thoughts. Very, very subtle. Unless we ponder about it, do the manana and nididhyasana on that, we cannot turn our mind inward to look toward this Atman as Satyam Jnanam Anandam or Satchidanandam. Therefore, Sarvagadatvat Sushmatvatcha. What is the Sushmatvam? The Sushmatvam is Sarvagadatvatcha Nirvisheshataya. Nirvishesham. There is no adjective or no speciality for that knowledge. Because all the knowledge which we know in our mind has speciality. It is either specialized by the object or the subject or the content of the thought. But here it is that which is neither conditional by any of these, conditioned by the subject, object or the effect of the thought. Therefore, Hridi, in the heart, when we can perceive or when we can apprehend our nature without these conditioning, that itself is Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam. How does it happen? Saha evam Brahma vijanan kimityaha If that is Brahman, if it is to be a known, why did it say that Asnude Sarvan Kaman? Asnude means enjoys. Bhungte. Sarvan means Niravasheshan. Without any residual or all inclusive. Means total. There is nothing which is left out. Kaman. Kamya Bhogan Ityartha. The objects of desire. So the question, the Purvapakshi is asking here a question. If it is to be known, why does the Upanishad say that Sarvan Kaman Asnude Saha, along with, or Yugapat, instantly, the moment you know Brahman or Atman, Sarvan Kaman Asnude, you will be in total enjoyment of all desires. Literal meaning. But is the literal meaning what we have to take? Acharya says no. Kim asmadadiva vat putra swargadin padyayena is a question mark which again Purvapakshi is asking. Kim asmadivat means like us, we are all having our own enjoyments, our desires. Putra swargadin, for the progeny and the Surga. These are all our desires. Paryayena. Is that what is meant by Asnude Sarvan Kaman? All desires means without any Niravasheshan. Acharya says, Shankara says, no. Ityaha. Saha Yugapat, instantaneously, Eka Kshanouparudhena eva. Eka Kshanouparudhena eva. Arudhena eva. Kshana Uparudhena eva. In the momentary, the moment that you are able to see the knowledge in its purity, Eka Upalabdhya, in that attainment of that alone, Savitri Prakashavat Nityataya Brahma Swarupa Avyadiriktadaya. Now, here he is explaining how is that knowledge happening. Savitri Prakashavat, like the light of the sun, which is Nityataya, which is eternal. Never is there the darkness in the sun. So there is no point of where this aspect of knowledge or Atman was ever absent in us. That is the most important thing which we have to understand, that it is known only when we look for. No. It is there even this very moment when we are not knowing it. It is just like saying that the sun is still shining when I am in the middle of the night. Not even moonlight is there for me. Doesn't mean the sun is not shining. The shine is Nityataya shining. Same way, this Atma, Brahman, in all aspects, in the heart, not limited by the physical body, that Atma, in the form of knowledge, is shining always. Brahma Swarupa. In the Swarupa of Brahma, because then there is no more limitation of the body. So Brahma Swarupa means Atma, Brahma being identical. There is no way I can say it is localized or it is in my heart alone. No. Avyaridiktaya. There is no way I can do a separation. Ananyatvam. There is no separation between the knowledge and myself or knowing me or knowing my nature. I am knowing it this very moment. It is me when I am saying I am not the individual anymore, or not the individual which I think I am, because I have been proved that I am not the individual. I am Atma. So that ananyatvam between Atma and Brahma, or the anandatvam, where the ananyatvam is valid, that anandatvam becomes my nature, and that is the Brahma. So Atma is also Ananda, Brahma is also Ananda, and it is Nitya. So Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava is the nature of Atma. Yam avochama satyam jnanam anandam Brahma iti. So that is the reason why this Atma or Brahman is referred as Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam. Satyam means Nityam. Because Yanna Vyabhijarati, that which is not going through any change, means it is Nityam. Jnanam, we know that. And Anandam is Ananyatvam. There is nothing outside or nothing to limit Brahman or Atman, even when the knowledge which we are talking about, that knowledge is not a limiting factor. The limiting factor comes when the knowledge is conditioned by Jnadrit Jnanat Jneya, the knower knowledge and the known, because Desha Kala, all Vastu. Desha Kala, Vastu means the space, time and object. These are the conditions with which it becomes conditioned, the knowledge. That conditioning is all we know in our mental makeup. But the same mind has in its purity our own nature. We are our mind when we say that is from that point of view that we are identical with Atma. Now, let us take the creation of the dream. The heart or the mind is the place where the dreams are happening. And the dreams are nothing but in the form of knowledge or experience. We call it as experience is the knowledge itself. So what happens is there, in the knowledge, the space is created, the mind is created first. The deep sleeper creates the mind of the dreamer, not the dreamer creatable mind. And there is a second mind of the dreamer who thinks he is a dreamer in the dream. That is why he has the experiences of the dreamer. But before that, he is now the dreamer mind which is going to create the dream, from where the space for the dream is created. And in the space dream, the time also comes up along with the space. Then we have all the things which is being created in the space, and that space is not separate from the heart of the space in which the dream is being created, and that heart is not separate from the Atma which is creating that dreamer, which is in the deep sleep, as the pure Atma or pure Satchitananda. That is the state in which when. Now, the same thing, if you want, we can extrapolate it into the waking also. But the problem is that we cannot do that sitting in the waking. The waker cannot move backward to its causes or think about its causes. That is where the problem comes up. Therefore, we have to analyze our dream, because we are not in the dream. Therefore, we can analyze our dream and do this process of creation of the dream world and everything. And then the inference from that should be extrapolated to our waking. Etaduchyate Brahmana saha iti means instantaneously with the Brahma. Brahma Budo Vidwan Brahma Swarupena eva sarvan kahan saha asnute. Now, how does the word sarvan kaman asnute? All the desires are fulfilled. Brahmabhuta Vidwan, the one who has now realized that knowledge is my Swarupa or Atma or Brahma, and when he is able to understand that, then he becomes Brahmabhuta Vidwan. And then Brahma Swarupena eva, by knowing the Swarupa of Brahman or Atman, Sarvan Kaman Asnude Saha. Instantaneously, he is enjoying all the desires. Na tata yata upadikritattvena sarvarupena atmanaha jalasuryadivat pratibimba bhutena samsarikena kena dharmadi nimitta apeksha akshanshu chakshuradi karana upankshascha sarvan kaman paryayena asnute lokaha. Now, he is giving an example. Na tada, not like what? Yata upadikritena swarupena atmanaha. Now the individuality, if we are considering limited by the upadi of the body, then it will be like the same sunlight which is nitya and suddha and sarvagata, that surya becomes jala suryakadivat, the pratibimba bhutena. Limitation comes to the sun and the sunlight in the reflection of the jalaka, in the pond or in the water body. It is not able to become sarvagata or nitya, because it is now conditioned by the ubadi of the jala, of the water body, in which, suppose if you are seeing the sun's reflection in a pot of plate or in a bowl, that sun, even though it is the reflection of the sun, it is not like the original sun. The original sun never sets. It is always shining and sarvagatam. It is spread everywhere. All the planets, everywhere the light of the sun is going. But the reflected sun, because of the conditioning of the upati or the limitation adjunct of the body, the knowledge which is happening in our mind, samsarikena. So we are all samsaris. So like our knowledge, dharmadi nimitta apeshaha chakshuradi karana apekshanscha. Dharmadi nimitta. Dharma means here the punya and papa. The kamas which are the samsaris or the ordinary people are enjoying are conditioned by dharma. Means if you are having punya, you will be enjoying happiness. If you are having papa, you will having sorrow. But the happiness never comes alone. Happiness is always sandwiched between the sorrows. So the dharmadi nimittam, the enjoyment which we are getting due to the punya are limited. Chakshuradi karana, and it is also dependent upon our sense organs, because a good vision or a good taste of food, everything is conditioned by the sense organs, and the enjoyment in the mind due to the acquiring of that is also due to punya or papa. And when punya or papa, one is diminishing, the other will become more. So there will be waning and waxing of happiness and sorrow. Like that, sarvan kaman loka hasute. All the enjoyment which we are enjoying is conditioned by the upadikrit. nathada. It is not like that. Here Brahmana Saha means just as how Brahma is Sarvagata or all-pervading, therefore how we understood the Sarvajna in the case of, in the previous class, we understood Sarvajna not because he knows everything inside the Brahman, because of it is allowing everything to come up inside. No, it is the nature of knowledge itself in which everything appearing as separate in the Brahman is also like knowledge only. There is nothing you can segregate ananyatvam from the knowledge. Therefore, what happens is that the Sarvajñatvam was known as part and parcel of Brahma. Same way, here Sarvan Kaman becomes the Sarvajñam Sarvakama, becomes the enjoyer of everything, not in the sense that it is separate from it. It becomes the source and the enjoyment and the enjoyer all in one, because it is there is nothing outside it. Ananyatvad. There is nothing. Kadam tarhi yadoktena prakarena sarvajnena sarvagatena sarvatmana nitya brahmatva swarupena dharmadi nimitta apekshan chakshuradi karana apekshanscha sarvan kaman saha asnute ityartaha. So here the question is, kadam tarhi, in that case, how does it happen that sarvan kaman asnute? Yadokta prakarena sarvajnena sarvagatena sarvatmana. As I explained about the sarvajna, which is sarvagata and sarvatmana. It is the atma of everything, and sarvagata, it is everywhere. Nitya Brahma Swarupena. This Swarupa of Brahman is Nitya and Swarupa of everything. Dharmadi Nimitta Anapekshan. It doesn't depend upon the Punya or Papa. Because Punya or Papa is limited by the mind or the limitation of the Kartrutva Bhoktrutva. I am the doer, therefore I get good results. I am the enjoyer, therefore I get results. So therefore the limitation which is identified with the body, the dharma nimittam is conditioning the mind and the body, physical body and the physical mind. It is here, nityatvam and sarvagatatvam of Brahman is what we are, our nature. Therefore, anapeksha means there is no dependency on the physical body or the physical mind. Chakshuradi karana anapekshatvam. And it is not dependent on the Chakshuradi karana, all the instruments which are being seen in the body. We don't need. That is why that mantra, apanipado jahanau grahida pasyatta chakshusya srunotya karna. That statement is valid only because of this, that it is sarvajna. Same way, the sarvan kaman saha asnute, instantaneously, because it is not, that kaman is not separate from him. It is embedded in him, or he is the very source of happiness. That is why the anandam becomes anandam. The anandam of Brahman is because sarvan kaman sahasnude. It is the source of all the happiness instantaneously in once, in when the Brahma is Brahma bhutena, Brahma, one who knows Brahman happens. Vipaschita medhavina sarvajnena. Vipaschita, clearly by medhavina, one who have got clarity in the nididhyasana. The conviction, the medha here is the conviction of the knowing. Sarvajnena, by knowing the sarvajñatvam, he becomes a sarvakaman, or also he enjoys all the happiness also. Tadhi vipaschityam sarvajñatvam. That itself is what is called the clarity or the medhavitvam or the nididhyasana, effect of nididhyasana, and sarvajñatvam is the omniscience or omnipotency of that. Tena sarvasya swarupena brahmana asnute iti. Tena, by knowing that, because of that, Sarvajna Swarupena, in the Swarupa of, by the nature of Brahma or Atma, Sarvan Kaman Asnute. He becomes the happiness for himself, or he becomes the bliss, total bliss in himself. Iti Shabdo Mantra Parisamaptyartha. This is the why the mantra is being concluded in the first anuvak, the first part of it. So, Sarva eva khalvartam kavalyartam brahmavidapnoti param iti brahmano vakyena sutrita. So this is why the brahmavidapnoti param, that opening statement of the mantra, becomes fruitful or really a effect only by becoming, by knowing Brahman, you become apnodi param. Param means the supreme. Apnodi means you are pervading everything. Not only you are pervading physically or in the what you call the subtleness of Brahman, beyond the akasha of what we know about sky, and sarvan kaman, all the desires. Desires is not the desire what we think in everything. Here the desire is the bliss itself. Therefore, Vakyena Sutrita. This is what the Sutra Mantra Vat Sutra is given in the beginning itself. Sacha Sutridarthaha Sankshepadho Mandrena Vyakhyada. This Sutrartha, what has been given by Brahma Vidapnoti Param, Sankshepata, in precise, Mandrena Vyakhyada. In that mantra, as this is that. Now, all the lecture which we started from Brahma Vidapnoti Param till now is included in that one mantra, Brahma Vidapnoti Param, which has been explained in the last 5-6 classes. Punaha tasyeva vistarena artha nirnaya kartavya iti uttaraha tad vritti saniyo granda arabhyade tasmadva etasmad ityadi. Now, what has been told in the precise and concise way in the Sutra Bhashyam Brahma Vidapnoti Param, in the Sutra, that is now being expanded in the following aspect. Tasmad etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha akashad vayu, etc., etc., which we will take it in the next class. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you very, very much, Bindaji. Thank you for this class today. In a moment, we'll open hand raising and chat so that anyone who would like to come up and discuss this Upanishad with Bindaji can. This class, but also if there are classes on Taitareeya that have already occurred here, and you have thoughts about those that you want to discuss and clarify, please feel free to do that. And while I open up hand raising and chat, Prakash, if you have anything you'd like to bring forward.
Yes, namaste. A big heartfelt thank you again to Bindoji, because this was a much deeper state of clarity, if I can use the word. The beauty that I felt there, Bindoji, was the knowing of Anantam is simultaneously occurring with the anandam of the experience. So I wanted you to kind of, you've already stated it. I want to hear from you one more about that. The anantam of knowing the anantam and the experience of anandam is a clear signpost for the sadhak to say that is nididhyasana.
No, the thing is that you cannot segregate. That is why Sarvagatatvat, Nirvisheshatvat, that two words. Sarvagatatvam shows Anantam. Nirvisheshatvam means there is no way you can segregate that knowledge which itself is happiness or bliss from that. So, Nityatvad, because it is eternal, like Suryarkava, like the light of the sun. It is eternal, it is omniscient, and it is a state of bliss. Or by knowing that is our nature, you don't have to search separately for the happiness. Knowing our true nature itself will make you in a state of bliss where you will be one with the truth, Satyam, Jnanam and Anandam or Anandam. You cannot segregate it. That is the only way to do it. And any dependency on any external thing, which is like the Punya Papa or, Chakshuradi Karana or the instruments of sense organs, both internal and external, none of them are potentially capable of. That is why Paranchigani Vidarana Swayambhu, that mantra of Kathopanishad, will become Sarthakam, real, or with the meaning, real meaning here. And Avrita Chakshu, one who looks within yourself, where will you look? For the knowledge which is beyond the knower, known and the knowing. In the vrittis, in the mind. That is why, yat manasana manute yenahur mano matam. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedamididam upasate. In the Kenopanishad, when it said, it is because of this that the mind becomes a mind only because the knowledge in the mind is giving you the potency to bifurcate between the subject, object, and so ahamvritti and idamvritti. That knower and the known, both these things are now a construction of the individual mind. The moment the individuality is created, the individual mind is segregating myself and others. So you have to go beyond that individuality feeling into the thought process or the knowledge which is happening in our mind and remove the subject, object and knowing in that process where the knowledge is taking place to get a direction towards where the Satyajnanam and Anandam or Anandam is worthwhile in that pure knowledge. That is where we have to take our Nididhyasana to know that infinite bliss or infinite nature or infinite Satyajnanam Anandam, all the words which comes through there.
Yes, thank you, Binduji. For me, it was in this class, the kind of the clear signpost for me. It was that's why I was relating it that way. But I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about about how this progresses or this is realized. So thank you. Yeah.
Namaste Ganesh.
Namaste Binduji. Today's class was fantastic, and that Guha aspect of and the creation of the Akasha by the Brahman. There, by listening to the entire lecture, I was just thinking of the fact that ultimately it is the Satchidananda Swarupa, as they say. Sat is very well explained, Satya Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And Anandam is Anantata itself is Anandam. You said that also. I have a doubt, and rather, I need clarification. Is that Guha or the Akasha that is created, is that the Chit actually?
No. Chit, says, can you mute? The aspect of Guha is because it is not perceivable by ever any of our known instruments, including our mind. But it is hidden. Guha means hidden. Uhate, samvarne, means covered, or it is well protected. In the sense that it's not protected by something else. Because that is the only one, there is nothing from which it need to be protected. But when we are feeling that we are not that, we feel that that is protected and not difficult to achieve. But that is being removed when the Upanishad says that tasmat etasmat atmana akasha sambhuta. That is the time when we have to identify that Atma or Brahma are not separate. It is our own Atma which is being referred to here by the Guha, which is our own nature, is hidden from us because we are looking were not in the right direction. Therefore, what happens is that it is considered as Guha, not because it is Chittam or Jnanam.
So Chitta is also outside that Guha, isn't it?
Oh,
That also comes in the realm of
yes,
mind.
see, you cannot segregate Sat and Chit and Ananda or Satchit Ananda separately. All the three are to be gone together. See, you cannot say that, how can I say that? You have three things.
Yeah, just like Satya Jnanam Anantam Brahma.
Yes, you cannot segregate that. Sat is and also Anandam, Sat is also Anantam. Anandam is also Sat and Sat is Jnanam. Like that, you have to understand that one without the other two are incomplete. Because then it will go to something physical.
Okay. Okay, Binduji.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Today, lot of clarity today.
Yeah, listen to it again. And you'll get...
Yeah, sure. It has to be listened to eternally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rahul?
Namaste, Binduji. Binduji, my question was regarding the Ahankara thing that you mentioned earlier. So I'm just trying to extrapolate thing. Like if I remove Ahankara, right? In the sense, let's say uh, I see people around me, some people who are like very smarter than me, like maybe at least 10 times smarter than me, and even like maybe 10 times stronger than me. But now let's say if one of them or few of them are like Jivan Muktas or some highly enlightened people. Now can I and those people are clearly listening to me and helping me when I need help. But if we just extrapolate that, like, in that same direction, like maybe there is some entity who's like maybe a million times smarter than me, million times stronger than me, and probably some alien, for lack of better words, and who can listen to me and the topmost guy in the entire universe in that sense, but he's also enlightened. Can I consider him as Bhagavan actually? I mean, literal dualist God who can help me and do pujas and all. So, is that possible?
Rahul, you are talking about what is going to come in the Upanishad later. Towards the end of the Brahmananda, it will come. But what it is talking here, you are talking about a physical condition of a individual or an entity, which may be whatever may be your, multiplication factor to the power of n, it is still measurable. Here we are talking about something is infinite. The infinite, if you say that it has got a creation, then there is a time factor to it. And what is created can also end. Therefore, here we are talking about an infinite which is not created, which doesn't have an end, and it is eternal, nityam, because satyam means yajna vebhajarati, but it doesn't go through any changes, so it is nityam. That is one which is to be there. Nityam may bring the concept of time. That time is negated by when it is said that it is jnanam and anandam, that it has to be in the form of a knowledge. The time which we know is not knowledge, and it is not infinite in nature. Whatever is, it's measurable. What is measurable is not infinite in nature. However much you think it is infinite, it is measurable means it is not infinite. Infinite itself is the condition for measure, not lack of measurement in it. So a person or an entity which you think has got willing to help you, all those things will fall under measurable or limitations in one way or the other. That is not what Brahman is, Atman is, or Bhagavan is, what you are talking about. The Ishvara, which is nothing but Brahma, the Ishvara concept of Puranas I am not talking about, but the Ishatvam, Brahma, the Ishavasyam idam sarvam, that Ishat, what we are talking about, is Brahman itself, which is defined as Satyam Jnanam and Anantam or Satchidanandam Brahma. So, no human being or no entity physically possible external to you to give you that happiness. It has to be your own nature, not the physical ahankara what you are talking about. It is the aham nature of that I-ness. Without the I, there is something. When the moment I comes, I am, and anything other than I become the other. That bifurcation cannot happen in the infinite. That is why ananyatvam is important. And that can be known only if you know the knowledge unconditional without any desha kala, etc. So we are talking about realizing or looking one towards ourselves. And this is the only thing which is aparoksha. Aparoksha means the most immediate thing, that I exist, or the I-ness, or my knowing of myself, or my, that thought, or I cannot say you, any word cannot be that, but we all have that I, not the individuality I, but an I which is inseparable from me in all my states, including my deep sleep. That time the individuality or the egoistic I is not present in the deep sleep also. It is different in the dream. It is different in the waking. So without that, there is still that I-ness which we call it as the Sakshi or the witness for all the three, which is separate from that. But that experience also is in relation with the experiences of the waking, dream and deep sleep. When you make it unconditional, without any of this knowledge on the known, then that transforms or transcends itself to Satya Jnanam and Anandam. Until then, you cannot call it as Bhagavan.
Thanks, Bindaji. One last follow-up question. Okay, maybe Bhagavan is not the right word. That is fine. But at least there could be some entity, just like there's definitely other person who can. I mean, at maybe substratum level it is same, but still there is another mind who can listen when I'm talking, right? So in that sense, it need not be power of infinity, but power of million, which is good enough for me. If there is somebody, there could be a possibility of somebody who's like power of a million than me, who can listen to my prayers. I mean, like through some telepathy or something, whatever, and respond and help me. And need not be infinite happiness, but some material benefits or guide me with knowledge or something like that. Can we have? Is it possible that such a entity can exist?
Yes, very much. That entity is none other than you. Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita, Uddhared Atman Atmanam, na Atmanam avasadayet, Atmaiva Bandhuhu, Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. You are your own friend and you are your own enemy. And never decry yourself or never consider yourself as helpless or powerless. You are the most powerful. For that, you have to understand who you are. There is no entity outside who can help. Whatever entity outside is there will be limiting you. Because he will be limiting you, you will be limiting him. Even if it is Ishvara, he will be limiting you. Therefore, you have to understand that you are the source of power. You are the friend of yours. You are your own enemy. If you decide that you are not powerful, nobody can help you. Therefore, uddhareta atmanam. Therefore, you have to lift yourself up.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Binduji.
Thank you, Rahul. So we've closed hand raising. We're ending usually around this time. Please know that you're welcome next Friday for the continuation of the class at the same time, 8:30 p.m. IST. And there'll be a general Advaita Q&A on Sunday at the same time. The replays are here on the YouTube channel called Advaita Retold, and you can also find it at Advaitic Talks. There are these replays plus a lot of prior classes as well. The open Q&As are not posted there at this time. Thank you everyone for being here and being interested to take this time with Binduji, and thank you Prakash for supporting the way that you are. Makes a very, very big difference. We're grateful for that, truly. And Binduji, most thanks to you for taking the time to do this with us and doing your best to help us see some of the things that you have discovered. Prakash, did you want to say anything before Bindo closes us out?
I just wanted to say this was a very deep nididhyasana. So for me, I understand where Binduji is telling me don't hold on to that, but for the benefit of others, I think, this has to be replayed at least a couple of times to get that really sinking in, to understand how one meditates upon this. So that's my recommendation to the audience. And as always, a big thank you, a heartfelt thank you to Binduji. And yeah, thank you. Over to you, Binduji.
Thank you. I will make one announcement that I had done the first 3 sutras of Brahma Sutra in one of the private classes which are available in the YouTube, Advaita Retold. I could not continue the 4th sutra due to my sickness and recovery of that. I'm planning to start that on Tuesday night, same time, in that private classes where the 4th sutra will be taken up. So those who want to come for that can send me an email at advaitatalks@gmail.com. It is there in my profile also here. So those who want to join that, I can join that. But you will have to listen to the first 3 sutras which I have covered in that, because I'm not going to repeat the 3 sutras when I'm going to the 4th. But there will be references about that in the 4th mantra, 4th sutra of Brahma Sutra. So I'll be starting that somewhere in the month of February, and I cannot do it in the clubhouse because I have to display the screen, which is not possible in the clubhouse. That is the problem, because it is not just for listening. I want people to listen to read go along with me when I'm reading it. That is the reason why I'm doing it in the preconferencecall.com. So those who have given their emails will get their invitation. I'll be sending 2 weeks in advance the class announcement. I'm planning to start it in February first week, maybe the second week also, or one of the two. But I'll send a invitation before end of the month to give all the details to those who have not got the app, or those who want to put it in their laptop, because I'll be sharing the screen so that they can attend to that. And I'll send out the invitation. But please let me know, those who are not already there, those who have not attended earlier this thing, send me an email. I will add the email ID so that you get regular invitation to that. Yes, Atmisha, you have to say something?
Yeah, since you did bring that up, I just wanted to say to people, it's a considerable study to catch up on the first three and to really give it contemplation. And so I advise if people are interested in the fourth that you begin that now and see whether that's truly something you want to join into, so that you'll have the same background. And it's a fantastic opportunity. Some of us have been waiting now a couple years for the fourth, which should really be so important. And that what I saw in the first three is quite different than some of the more limited understanding of the Brahma Sutras. So thank you so much for doing that for us, Bindu. There are sometimes discussions about those in other rooms that I don't think touch on what you really have. So thank you for that. I encourage everyone who's truly interested to get on YouTube and really take a look.
There are only 8 lectures there which you can go through before the second week of February. So I'm giving enough time for those who want to catch up. So that is why I'm delaying it to month of February and second week of February or first week of February, based on your, catching up the old classes. 8 classes are there. So even if you do 3 classes a week, you can cover it up before we start the next class in that one. Thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Ganesh, Rahul, who came up for questions, and all the people who have been listening till now. Please listen to this lecture once again, if possible, before the next class on Friday. We'll continue on Friday. Thank you all. Hari Om. Namaste. Good night.
Mhm.
Good night, Bindu.